In this series, we have discussed how group decision-making is like building a house. If decisions are made based on faulty conclusions, the outcome is compromised. A common source of faulty conclusions are logical fallacies, which occur when a person supports a position with misleading, flawed, or outright false argumentation. In our last video, we discussed the straw man fallacy, which occurs when a person argues against a false, less compelling characterization of another person's position rather than his or her actual position on a subject. As an example, we introduced Bob, who committed the straw man fallacy when he argued,
Billie just doesn't think safety is important. She's perfectly comfortable with injuries continuing to occur so long as her team is not inconvenienced.
We asked how Bob could reframe his position in a way that was more productive and fair to Billie. Billie never said that she didn't think safety was important. She merely expressed concern that her team couldn't add anything to their plate. Rather than accusing her of not caring about safety, Bob could have listened to her concerns and responded with questions that acknowledge her concerns, such as, are there other things of less importance than safety that we could take off our team's plates? Or, is this location appropriately staffed if they don't have enough time for something as important as safety? This week, we will discuss 2 new fallacies. Before we name these fallacies, see if you can spot the fallacies in the following discussion.
Jack says the cost is not justified, but did you know he just purchased a new copy machine for $50,000? Plus, I've heard rumors from payroll that his paycheck is being garnished for credit card debt. He has no right to talk about value.
Can you guess which fallacy Jane committed? If you guessed the Ad Hominem and Tu Quoque fallacies, you would be correct. Tu Quoque, which is Latin for you also, is also known as the Hypocrisy Fallacy. This occurs when a person defends his or her position or actions by pointing out that an opponent has made similar decisions or engaged in similar behavior in the past. Similarly, ad hominem, which is Latin for against the person, is when a person defends his or her position by attacking the character of an opponent rather than the opponent's actual counterpoints. In our example, Jane defends her software purchase by pointing out that Jack had purchased an expensive copy machine. However, this is irrelevant to whether the software is the right fit for the company. Rather than focusing on return on investment, Jane seeks to justify one expensive purchase with another expensive purchase. This moves the conversation in the wrong direction. If the copy machine is a concern of Jane's, she should arrange a time to address the issue separately with the stakeholders in that decision. The copy machine discussion should not spill over into the discussion about software. Jane further supports her position by attacking Jack's character. She characterizes him as irresponsible with money by pointing to his paycheck being garnished for credit card debt. Not only is this comment inappropriate and intrusive, but it is also irrelevant again to whether the software is the right choice for the company. Additionally, negative character attacks are not appropriate in the workplace, particularly in the decision-making forum. If Jane has concerns about Jack, she should schedule a separate time to discuss those concerns with Jack or a supervisor. So how could Jane reframe her argument? Jane should stick to proving the return on investment she claims the software will provide.
Jack is not factoring the customer drop-off rate under our current system, which is currently a staggering 55%. I believe this software would decrease customer drop-off to only 25% in the first year, yielding an additional $300,000 in profits. Here's why.
In this reframed argument, the focus is on sources for return on investment, not Jack's past purchase or his character. Now let's turn to our other team discussion. Bob and Billie are discussing whether to increase the number of regular safety observations in an effort to improve safety at their facility. Bob is advocating to increase observations. Billie is concerned her supervisors do not have enough time for more observations. Bob states,
Billie said her managers don't have time for additional observations, but she just added a new inventory report that takes even more time. Plus, I heard she does street racing on Saturday nights. This is obviously not a person who cares about safety.
How has Bob committed the Tu Quoque and Ad Hominem fallacies in this example? Is it possible to discuss the inventory report without committing the Tu Quoque Fallacy? In our next episode, we will hear how Bob and Billie can avoid the Tu Quoque and Ad Hominem Fallacies. Then we will discuss 2 additional fallacies, the bandwagon and appeal to tradition fallacies. Until next time, build well.